he would go around Sri Gaudiya Mat, and he's always saying Krishna Nam. All his mouth, when you're with him, always moving like this, because he's always chanting Hare Krishna, like 24 hours a day, every waking moment. Or if he's not, the only time he's not doing that is when he's singing or chanting a sloka. Otherwise, his mouth always quivering like that. And Hare Krishna, and you can always hear him coming a mile away, because down the road you hear Hare Krishna. They go, Babaji Maharaj is coming. And he who has so much love and affection for Guru Maharaj Gurudev, the songs of Guru Maharaj saying like, why are you're singing my songs and my slokas? And he said, because I find they're the same quality of Rupa Goswami. So when he visits the Gaudiya Mat, everyone is excited. Oh, Babaji Maharaj has come, They give him a room or a shared room for a few days. He stays there, And of course, he does the kirtan, And he would sing like, Pranamami Sada Prabhupada Padam. These are all disciples of Saraswati. They're floored, like how glorious and how beautiful this song is. So it's Guru Maharaj's song. He's always singing the slokas of Guru Maharaj. Nikhila Bhuvana Maya, Chinavachana Kartri, Mukti Mohanta Datri, Shati Lidividi, Raga Radhe Sadvani, Vilasatu Hridinatyam Bhakti Siddhanta Vani. You see Srila Guru Maharaj's poetic skill. His name is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Siddhanta Saraswati. Who is Saraswati? Bhak Devi, the goddess of speech, of song, of kirtan. He says, Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Itaram. He's the Hari Kirtan Murti. His talk, Krishna talk, personified. You come in his connection, you're going to hear about Krishna. So Guru Maharaj says, beautiful, Siddhanta Vani, speed, Bhak Devi Vani, Saraswati Vani, speed. So Bhakti Siddhanta Vani, Vilasatu Hridi Nityam Bhakti Siddhanta Vani. May his divine kirtan, words, instructions play upon our hearts forever. Vilasatu, Vilas, Hridi Nityam, eternally in our hearts. This is our aspiration. Vilasatu Hridi Nityam, Bhakti Siddhanta Vani. We always hear about Vapu and Vani. Vani and Vapu. So that Vapu means the form. Vani is like form and substance. But Guru Maharaj said we should also be careful that the Vani doesn't turn into another type of Vapu. When it's cliched, lifeless, cant. C-A-N-T. That's the word, like canto. Cant means when something has been used so much, it's just like meaningless. You're not feeling it. You're saying something you really have no feelings for. We have to be on the lookout for that. So, we sometimes we think that our generation, we've got all the puggle people, the crazies, and they didn't have to deal with that. Once he is engaged in Harikatha, Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Duram. And we said, always to the point of exhaustion. One time at the end of the day, after a whole day of talking to Krishna, someone comes and asks, what is sadhu? They always do something like that. You've done the whole thing all day and night, and you go, yeah, you have a question. Yeah. What is sadhu? And Saraswati Thakur returned to Guru Maharaj, you explain. So Guru Maharaj started explaining with the Hang Bhakta Paradino, and Saraswati Thakur, it really, to this day, it bothered Guru Maharaj. Saraswati Thakur wanted to go in another direction, and Guru Maharaj says, I was going to go there, but I started, he structures what he says, but Saraswati Thakur stopped and then he joined in. So at the point of exhaustion, still he took over and explained what is sadhu, the most basic question. On that note, once one of our friends said to Guru Maharaj, after all of Guru Maharaj's stuff, he goes, and he's a sannyasi Maharaj, the whole 9 yards, as they say. And he goes, what is Bhakti? And Guru Maharaj goes, it's a little late for that. Like someone said to me once, a devotee, I'm in Vila Govind, and he goes like, Maharaj, why is Krishna blue? Somehow I managed to maintain my composure, and I thought, Yang Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Sarupam. It's an inconceivable dark Jai Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Hi Jai. So Brahma Sangita came to me because I was patient and avoided strangling a Vaishnava in front of a group of Vaishnavas and a deity. So I'd say that was a win. But so he answered that, and why am I saying that? Because about Sadhu, Saraswati, Kripa, so he's engaged in Harikatha. Remember, Guru Maharaj said, Sagar Maharaj said once to me, he goes like, he's just thinking, he goes, wow, he must have been very sweet, And Guru Maharaj said, he had the sweetness of Vrindavan within, and it was only detectable within. He said, outwardly, he appeared as a devastator. So, and they're talking about his childhood, and like the Aruna, the children are learning jingle bells in school, and it's so sweet. She goes, jingle bells, jingle bells. So they were teaching the Bengali, and they have a group, and they're supposed to sing, and they're going to take a picture, and he would not sing. Right? The reason I'm making this point, who is Hari Kirtan personified? Guru said, did he dance and sing? And Guru Maharaj goes, Prabhupada? So who was infusing everyone, and through all this kirtan going, he didn't chant and sing and dance. He caused others to sing and dance. We hear the Mahabhagavata causes Krishna Nam to descend in you. When I had this brief chance, my 15 minutes of seva fame, with Prabhupada, and just me and him, he and I. And when I first saw he came in, and now it's just the two of us, the holy name of Krishna descended upon my tongue. And I went, oh, this is the Mahabhagavata. He's not doing anything, and I'm chanting. By just being around him, I can't stop taking the holy name of Krishna. So that's Saraswati Thakur. He's like, Guru Maharaj said, like to think of him singing down, And so they're taking the group picture as a child, and they're all supposed to be singing, and they go, the teacher says, I know you won't sing, and he said, but could you just open your mouth for the picture and pretend like you're singing? So that I can do. Right? So he's endlessly engaged in Krishna Katha, Hari Katha. He's descended where all Katha Ganam, Natya Priya, where all speech is song, all movement is dance. So he's preaching to someone, and he's got a disciple nearby. This may sound familiar. Who's going like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Saraswati Thakur is preaching, and this devotee is chanting japa while he's preaching. Right. Saraswati Thakur goes, stop making noise. Right? When Mahaprabhu is lost in the ocean in Puri, and they bring him out, the fishermen, and Swip Damodar and the others, they start taking Krishna Nam, and it's called Kalahol, means noise. And he comes out, and Mahaprabhu is crying and saying, I was on the banks of Radha Kunda, and the gopis had me making garlands, and Radharani and Krishna and the gopis were playing in the water. And he said, the sound of their ankle bells, their Nupur and ankle bells, was the most beautiful sound I've ever heard beyond imagination. And then you all made some noise and stopped my happy dream and brought me here. What is my fate? So Guru said, the chanting of Swarup Damodar, who's Lalita Saki, and the others, noise compared to the sound of the gopis' ankle bells in that world. But that was one perspective. And then Guru Maharaj said, like, what we call, the ability to, when you go higher, it turns into opposites. That's in Charitamritam. So Guru Maharaj then, after he said that, so the noise of Swarup Damodar and the others chanting Mahama, their Krishna Nam was noise compared to the sound of the gopis' ankle bells. And then he said, or conversely, we may think, the power of Krishna Nam is so great, it was preferable over direct participation in Leela. So if you can hold those two things simultaneously, you have a future in the Krishna consciousness movement. So he said, stop making noise. And that devotee says to him, you're making noise, I'm taking Krishna Nam. So sometimes you think like we're the only people who have to deal with stuff like this. I'm taking Krishna Nam. That ego is the enemy of the aspiring servitor. He's not interested in bead counters. Like what we need to do is round up a whole bunch of people and get them to count beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many have you done? I'm going for a record. When I'm not thinking of sex. Oh, gee, I'm taking Krishna Nam and thinking of sex. Is that a good thing? So, Babaji Maharaj, speaking of Babaji Maharaj, he liked to chant, we know, endlessly, right? Before he joined, he was like that. He was very athletic and very handsome. He would run marathon and chant the whole time. When he wanted to join the mud, he came in like beautiful, like the Bengali style, and Saraswati Thakur didn't want him to join. He said, he may create a disturbance in the ashram. So Babaji Maharaj shaved his head brutally, just practically ripped the hair off his head, got rid of those clothes, and came back and said, now he can join. But, so, why did I say that? Because, so Babaji Maharaj, but it's like a fault, too. I'm just speaking bluntly. Because this is not what Saraswati Thakur wants, but Babaji Maharaj is just kind of like, what are you going to say? He just chants Krishna Nam all the time. You're going to crucify him for that? Maybe. If you were crucifying him, he'd be taking Krishna Nam. So it's not going to stop him. So he's in a place called Bali Ati, which is modern day Bangladesh. Guru Maharaj, the jungles of Bali Ati. Guru Maharaj is at the Delhi Mat. He's the Mat commander, in charge of the Mat. And Babaji Maharaj just loves Guru Maharaj, so he likes to hear from. The only time he might be relatively silent is listening to Guru Maharaj or singing songs. So Guru Maharaj is saying I could use some help here. And and when you're managing a mat, you're always saying gee, could you help out? We need some help in the kitchen kind of thing. But Guru Maharaj said, interestingly, he understands the pragmatic aspects of running a mat, and so it's not like he doesn't know. But he said, so that's a given. Yeah, there's stuff that needs to be done. There's available servitors. But Guru Maharaj said another consideration is to come to the manager, that considering yourself a servant of all the servitors, should be thinking, what service does Krishna want from them? How can I serve them and assist them in achieving the service that Krishna wants from them? Not just, I got a lot of things to do, can you help out? But still, on the practical side, Guru Maharaj is saying, but he's thinking like, Babaji Maharaj is like chanting 64 rounds in the jungle about maybe that's what he should be doing. I mean, ultimately, Saraswati Thakur laments sometimes oh, these days we're not speaking so much about the glories of Krishna Nam. Remember on the veranda in Navadvip, Gurudev mentioned that. It was a lament of Saraswati Thakur. They got so overwhelmed by mat, duties, responsibilities. Remember, he used to chant 300,000 names a day, and had vowed he would do 1 billion in a month. And he came down from that platform to the Madhyan level to be accessible. And later, and after he had, 64 mats and all the responsibilities that go with that, one of his brothers came to him and said, Prabhu, because he's like, they're running this mission. It's like a Charger Maharaj said once. He mentioned that, I was saying, in the third canto it says, or third or fourth, that if you perfectly execute Varnashram Dharma for 100 lifetimes, you qualify to be Brahma in a universe. And Acharya Maharaj said, and if you do it 100 lifetimes with a fault, they make you in charge of a mat. So Saraswati, his brother is saying Prabhu, you've done it, look what you've done. Go now, go do bhajan, go back to, where. And Gurudev said, Saraswati Thakur, it's not possible now. Once you come down and operate on this level, they're But in his final days, he did withdraw completely from here and would hear the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur about Siddha Pranali from Jajavar Maharaj. And it was in Puri the last 3 months, and then transferred to Calcutta. So Guru Maharaj wrote him a letter and said, I forget his name, it was Sarvananda something, Babaji Maharaj's former name. And he said, I'm thinking of inviting him to assist in service in the Delhi Mat, but he's in Baliati chanting 64 rounds a day and really doing it, So I'm wondering, is my thinking right or incorrect? And Saraswati Thakur wrote back a letter saying, I do not consider, he said, counting beads. He didn't say taking Krishna, he said, I do not consider counting beads in the jungle of Baliati Krishnanushilana favorable for the culture of devotion. If you can engage him in service in Delhi Mat, you will be his real friend. That's what he said. So, in that verse, popularized by Babaji Maharaj, Nikhila Bhuvanamaya, Guru Maharaj said, I think I captured my Guru Maharaj and imprisoned him in a cage of poetry with this verse. He said, they capture a royal Bengal tiger and put him in a cage, and then they go from village to village, and all the people go, oh, and you get to see up close a royal Bengal tiger. So he's saying through this sloka, the poetry there, you get the up close and personal look of Srila Saraswati Thakur. So when we were making the search for Sri Krishna, and that very picture there, which they say the beard shows the Vairagi. The sitting posture is that of the yogi. The glasses, each thing is symbolic of some, and showing that the devotee is superior to all of those things. That's one of the ways of viewing this picture. And normally, you'd put a caption that says something like, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, founder of Sri Gaudiya Math, a founder in charge of Sri Gaudiya Math, and it's, something along those lines. But I got some inspiration about something that Guru Maharaj said that was unique, and it wasn't in the book yet, and I was wondering how to work it in, so I put Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He declared totalitarian war against Maya and even all other existing conceptions of religion. And then when we're showing the book to Srila Guru Maharaj, which he said arrived 50 years to the moment that they had presented Sri Krishna Chaitanya to Saraswati Thakur in Madras. And we're going through it, and Gurudev is practically dancing and smile, unbelievable. And I will read, we're going page by page by page of the Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful, and explaining the pictures, captions. And we come to this one, with some trepidation. And what does it say? And then, he declared totalitarian war against Maya, illusion, including all other existing conceptions of religion. And Guru Maharaj goes, if you didn't say anything else, he would be fully represented there. So he's not interested in accumulating bead counters. Right? What did he say? Western civilization, crush it. The whole world, including India, is under the thrall of Western civilization. He's saying, crush it. Like when Gandhi was out, they go, what do you think about Western civilization? He said, I think it would be a good idea. Along those lines. And what did he say? Kirtan means a fight. So I go, oh no, I have the Monet Williams Sanskrit dictionary here, and it says, Kirtan means, he's not giving you dictionary definitions of things, like devotees, they say, I know Sanskrit and Bengali, and I have all these books here, and I can explain this in 9 different ways. Okay, Sarvabhauma, not like that. He says Kirtan means a fight. The Krishna conception against the Mayak misconception. That's what he's about. Not we're just going to all go up, and just happily, take Krishna Nam, in the holy Dham and all that. What did he do? When he's in Mayapur, right? Kesava Maharaj, one of your early disciples, his sister would bring him prasad every day. And one man sort of raised his eyebrows, so this woman, she brings the prasad every day? He's going, yes. He's kind of like, you're that liberal? And he said, Shiti Liti Vidi Raga Radhe, that means to loosen. He's not loose, but he's willing to slacken everything to give others entrance. So the man said, you're like that liberal? He said, I'm so liberal, I would even eat something offered to me by you. That's the art of insult. Even if you gave me, I'd take that. So what to speak of her? Right? So he's there and gets the inspiration. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says he needs to turn over the seva of the deities and Chaitanya Mat, the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, etc. Saraswati Thakur is like, Bhaktivinoda, no, you've become a Nirvisheshvadi? Like, the form of the Lord is too much trouble for you? Saraswati, no. He realized he's going to have to come down to this plane to be accessible, and otherwise everything's perfect. No nothing needs adjusting. That's the vision of the Mahabhagavata. But to operate in this world, you have to come down to second class position and say, don't do that. I'm your guru and I'm telling you, do not do that. Called that acharya abhiman. Normally, he's saying, dashoshmi, they're offering prayer. He goes, I'm your servant. But every now and then he said, Acharya Abhiman comes. I'm the guru and I'm telling you, don't do this. When they're all leaving to go back to their homes after Mayapur celebration. And that's when you just say, so I want to thank everybody for coming. It was really a wonderful festival. And he starts going, don't cheat me. And they're going like, what? He's going, don't cheat me. People are like, what do you mean? He's saying, you came here for something. And that's why we're connected. And now you're going back home? And he said, I say, if your house is on fire, it's burning down, let it burn to the ground, because it's that house and everything in it that's keeping you bound in this world. Let it burn, but stay here and dedicate yourself today. He had the sweetness of Vrindavan within, and it was only detectable within. And once they're on the Brajamandal Parikrama, and it's South Asian custom, take off your shoes, especially going to a divine place. We know sometimes the devotees, they go and get the shoes of the Guru or Mara, and then they come back and they're waiting, with the shoes, kind of thing. So he comes out, and it's Guru Maharaj waiting with his shoes. And Saraswati Thakur says, give them to me. That's what he said. Give them to me. And Guru Maharaj said, that was the most beautiful sound he'd ever heard. That was a beautiful song, and there's the gesture of his hands, and he said, give them to me. It was all dance, kataganam natyagamanam, because he descended from that world where all speech is song and all movement is dance. And all he said was, give them to me. And that's the type of disciple Guru Maharaj is, to see that way. So when he says, that he's, Hema, what's the line with, where his neck compared to golden lotus? Ati kamala kanchana dirga tanum nindita hema mrinala. Madanarbuddha bandita chandra padam pranamami sada Prabhupada padam. Ati kamala kanchana dirga, golden lotus, kamala kanchan. Tanum nindita hema, and he's saying, so it's like a beautiful lotus flower. When he was very inspired and appreciating, then all the blood goes to his face and he looks like pink, white, like the petals of a pink Kuvalaya lotus. That's how he looks to Guru Maharaj. Ati kamala kanchana, the golden lotus, nindita hema, he's so beautiful that the Cupid will be blasphemed. Something like that. He's so more beautiful. Nindita hema, like his neck, it's like the golden stalk of a golden lotus. Then Madanar Bhuta means 10 million cupids. Chandra Padam, his holy lotus feet. So that's one line from the song describing the beauty of Srila Saraswati Thakur. Like you said, Gurudev saying, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. So Nama, starting with Kripaya, Hari Kirtana Murti Dhanam. Here, the Rupa, how beautiful his form is, his qualities, pastime. So, he got the inspiration. And Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, when he heard he's going to go to Calcutta, start Sri Gaudiya Math, he's saying, Prabhu, Calcutta is the center of hell. Don't go to Calcutta. Stay here in the Dham with me. And remember, his Krishna Nam is Nam Bhaja, it's direct service. It's not abstract, he's not thinking about something. It's participating in Leela. That's why he cannot stop taking Krishna Nam. It's like the Nam Lila connection. And he tells him, don't go to Calcutta, it's the center of hell, stay here in the Dham. And Saraswati Thakur says, oh, you don't know. I have so much faith. Like Mahadada Bhuta Pavana Shakti Padam, as Guru Maharaj said about him. I have so much faith in the power of the dust of your holy lotus feet that I can liberate millions of Calcuttas. Just sprinkling the dust from your holy lotus feet, millions of Calcuttas I can liberate. And if Calcutta is the center of hell, what better place to establish a throne, an altar with Guru, Gauranga and Radha Govinda? That's my target. Those kind of things he's saying. We told when he's making Sri Gaudiya Mat and asked for the $3 million, to be collected. And one, Jagabandhu Prabhu gave 3 million. He asked for 1, he gave 3. And all the brothers, oh, Prabhupada, Jagabandhu Prabhu gave 3 million, now your wish is fulfilled. He said, no, it's not. No, but you asked for 1, he gave 3 times over what you asked for. He said, but that does not fulfill my wish. What does? He goes, I wanted that 1 million people would each give $1, and that way they would all get Sukriti for establishing the temple of Mahaprabhu and Radha Govinda. So, Krishna Priya, when you ask those individual people, so this is what they're connected to. That's how you get Sukriti in your account. They don't know all of that, but this is what they ended up supporting. Right? The Mahaprabhu that came from the heart of Gurudev and Radha Govinda Sundar. And Saraswati is always preaching, even when they're like, they have to visit a lawyer. He's preaching a lawyer. And that lawyer said, I don't know, are you trying to convert me? And he said, yes. And if you would concentrate on what I'm saying, for 5 minutes, the conversion would take place. And actually you'd realize, it's not conversion. This is your heart's inner wealth. So, and he said, I started alone in the jungle of Mayapur. Now I've got 500 men who say what I say. And they said, that's so potent, the Gaudiya Mat, if one of the members so busy with seva is not available to be sent to some program, you can send the dog, the street dog, who like Ketu, he's outside hearing the classes and all that. You can send a dog from the Gaudiya Mat to represent things, and he'll surpass what everyone else is saying. That was also said. And when someone said, "What you're preaching slavery," when you all is said and done, really, it's about slavery, divine slavery. It's divine, but it's slavery. It's slavery, but it's divine, whatever. And that's slavery. That is the degradation of a human being. And he said, no, Gaudiya Mat stands for the dignity of the human race. And why? And this shows, what Prabhupada used to call a poor fund of knowledge, or why people need to be educated. And Guru Maharaj will give the example, saying like, Mahatma Gandhi sent out word that he needs an assistant. So you can say in the modern world, executive assistant, servitor, slave. Right? Like I always like the Italians, they go, ciao, right, for hello and goodbye, ciao. But if you look up ciao, and forgive me if any Italian, it's like schiavo. It means I'm your slave. That's where it comes from. That's what they're saying. It's like, when someone says, and I am your servant. Or as this one American Indian used to sign his letter, your humble serpent. But it was a way of saying like, I'm your slave too, see ya. And it just became ciao, but it was schiavo Forgive me. I know I'm saying it wrong. But it's something like that. And it means, I am your slave. And it's considered to be an expression of love and affection, not degradation. Love and affection. Listen to a love song. You want to talk about slavery? Listen to any torch song. And a person can't live without that type of slavery. Got to get over it. All this humanistic BS. So anyway, so Gandhi sends out the word, So Guru Maharaj said, the highest men in the country were volunteering for this position. It's not like they found somebody on the street or someone hired. Like the heads of corporations, the heads of, the top people of the country wanted to be Mahatma Gandhi's servants, assistant, slave. Right? Why? Their thinking was, Mahatma. He's so great. Like people say, if I could be a fly on the wall in that room. Really, to be a fly, that is the degradation. Like just learn to think in a new way. If you stay with this stuff, you'll be forever in the shallows. Like Shakespeare says, there's a tide that rises in the lives of men where if taken, will take you to new worlds. And if you don't take it, you'll forever remain in the shallows. So this shallow thinking, stereotypes, the same old stuff again and again and again. Humanistic sloganeering, right? Which is all the advertising in the modern world is humanistic sloganeering. Right? So anyway, I'll deal with that at another time. But so they're all volunteering because that's the idea. Is like he's so great. If we can be in his relativity, in any way, our position will improve. That will be good for us. So if you can, Guru Maharaj's the point, you can think that way about Mahatma Gandhi and not of the supreme entity, the supreme being, the supreme reality, the supreme personality of Godhead. What kind of relationship do you think the finite's going to have with the infinite? Like, might you be subordinate? And we see the wonder of wonder in devotion. Prabhupada would say the devotees take a superior position to Krishna. That's with devotion. That Mother Yasoda's whipping Krishna, the cowherd boys are playing with him, defeating him in play, and the Braja Gopis claim him as theirs. Rupa Goswami says, Bhakti Prasamrita Sindhu, Madhu Sneha and Grita Sneha. Madhu Sneha, one affection compared to honey. And you think, oh, well, that must be the good one. Ghee, Grita. Right? So, and we're talking, that's Chandravali and her group. And they think, I am yours. That's it. I am yours. I belong to you. And we think, well, that's it. That's what we're all, that's Sharanagati. I am yours. You do with me that kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's laudable, notable, made it into the book. Right? But then he says, but there's another type, Radharani and her group. They say to Krishna, you are mine. You belong to us. And then Guru Maharaj, just for, what do you say, measure or equal measure, that's expression. He said, and what did the Mayavadi say? I am you. I am you. What? No, you're not. I am you. So I am yours, you are mine, I am you. Ahangra Upasana. They think they're God. It's deplorable. So, but the devotees, and I told when we're at the Kaliya Hrad, where Krishna danced on Kaliya, and the local girls from like 5 years old, 7, 9, 12, 14, the oldest one probably around 19, leader of the group. They're waiting for us to finish our little talk in kirtan so they can do what they've done for generations, for thousands of years, which is sit there and sing songs about Krishna and the Braja Gopis. And Krishna stealing their clothes and climbing the tree, and Krishna jumping on all the things that Krishna does. But they're like just beaming, radiant with ecstatic joy to see us doing something, because the way they see it is, look, they love our Krishna. They own Krishna. They feel he is their property, and they're very happy to see that others are expressing appreciation for their Krishna. So they have Madhu Sneha. So Saraswati Thakur, to what degree does he have it? That he'd be hearing the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where we know Raghunath Das Goswami, that drinks the buttermilk sustenance. And if you've ever seen, buttermilk in India is not like buttermilk in America. Buttermilk in America looks like a milkshake. Buttermilk in India looks like whitewash. It looks like water, like cloudy water. And why do they give that? Because they took everything, all the good stuff out of it, and after they made butter, they did this, that's why it's called buttermilk. So they have a lot of it, so when the sadhus come by here, they give it to them freely. Not to say they don't give other things, but that's one of the reasons why. They have a big supply, it's nothing to give it to somebody. And he takes that every day, and in a leaf cup. And one day he sees a different kind of leaf cup. And he goes, and remember, that's all he takes is this buttermilk. But he's so nourished internally, mukta charit and all those things, that the minimum is required for sustenance. He said, where is this leaf cup from? And they go, oh, Sakistali. That's the place of Chandravali, Radharani's opposition. He throws that. Needs to bathe, get off of him. So, in one of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, one of Chandravali's girlfriends, her name is Saibya, she's known to really have a sharp tongue. They all do. They go back and forth, but she's like the worst in their group, or the best, depending on how you want to deal with it. She says stuff. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the song, I do not want to hear her, I don't want nothing to do with her. And because I know what they're up to. It's indirect praise. So he's saying, they're trying to take Krishna away into their kunja, away from Radharani. So I don't want to hear that Saibya and all that stuff that she says that bewilders everybody and takes Krishna and makes Radharani unhappy. I don't even see their faces or hear about them. And when that line with Yadav Maharaj is singing that line in the song for Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj said his body would go like that. Physically, his body would jerk. Like he was having a heart attack. That's the sort of follower he is. Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Das, who's so dear to Radharani. Guru Maharaj said, when on this day, Radharani could no longer tolerate her separation of Nayana Mani Manjari. So she woke up one morning and where's Nayana Mani? She's not. I want to see her now. Bring her to me now. And he left the world and was with Radharani. She couldn't tolerate his separation. How dear he must be, she must be to her. Radharani couldn't live another minute without her at her side, assisting in various services. So that's Saraswati Thakur, perfect in every way. So you judge a guru by his disciples. Who are his disciples? His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Om Vishnupad, Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami, and numerous other Gaudiya Mata luminaries. They're his disciples. So, and he infused in them the necessity of extending Krishna conception to others. So much that they cannot Vilasatu Riddhi Nityam Bhakti Siddhanta Vani, always in their hearts is playing like, and Guru Maharaj is just very honest. And he'll say, like Prabhupada, we know, Prabhupada didn't start preaching in 1965. He's always preaching. But he had some special, we went to America, that's when he became successful and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And attributing the whole thing to the order of Saraswati Thakur, Guru Bhagyam Shirshi Darjam Shakta Vesha Swarupine. Wholly offered himself on the altar of self-sacrifice to the order of Saraswati Thakur, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana. Like, this is why I exist, to do this. Right? And that Saraswati Thakur had that type of dedication to Radharani. So, while the average sahajya is ready to cry at the drop of a whatever, Saraswati Thakur meticulously suppressed any type of spiritual emotions lest it mislead others. So if something was, and it came to him often, he's proofreading at the press, he'd see something, devotee see all the different ecstatic symptoms described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur visible on his divine form for those who had the eyes to see. Just by proofreading Chaitanya Bhagavat at the Bhagavat printing press. So who would meticulously suppress any sort of spiritual emotion? When he would hear this verse from the Vilapa Kusumanjali of Raghunath Das Swami, Guru said he would begin with his small circle in a room, wail uncontrollably. Ashavare amritasundu mayi katanchit kalo mayati gamita kila sampratam hi tam chet kripam mayi vidasasi naiva kimme prane brajena chabororu bakarinapi. Bororu is a very beautiful name for Radharani, about her form, that he can speak to her in that way. And he's saying, my life is an aspiration to serve your holy lotus feet. Radha Dasyam. But if that opportunity is withdrawn, my life is of no value. See that current in Prabhupada. My life is this, that's what I live for. That's what it's operating on, that current. And so my life is without meaning, without that prospect. And what's more valuable than my life, Vrindavan, is of no value to me without the prospect of serving your holy lotus feet. And then Guru said, and it is a shameless thing to say, but Krishna is of no use to me without you. What will I do? What would I know to do with Krishna? And he said, and in fact, without you by his side, he doesn't look so beautiful. Reality the beautiful, Achintya Gunas. You know what he looks like? Bakari Napi, Bakari, a demon killer. That look, not the sweet, the look that only we see from him when you're next to him. you bring out all the sweetness and all the beauty of Krishna. Prani Chabororu Bororu, her form is Bakarinapi. That verse would make Saraswati Thakur wail uncontrollably, who never shows, a tear. That would make him wail uncontrollably. So this aspiration to serve the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And Guru said, wherever his talk started, that's where they ended. Doesn't matter where it started, we'll always end with the aspiration to serve the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, Radha Dasyam, and praising, and the line of Rupa and Raghunath. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jarash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. So that's Saraswati Thakur. He descended from that plane to distribute something here, not to round up a bunch of bead counters. Right? Or imagine, Saraswati Thakur sees someone with a clicker. With mechanically taking, it's not even a metaphor. Like, I'm mechanically taking Krishna Nam. So, when he goes through the press, looking at those publications, so he sees this one verse, and it's a verse of Srila Guru Maharaj. It says, Sri Gauranamatam Swarupa Viditam Rupagrajain Adritam. Rupa Dye Pariveshitam Raghuganai Ashvaditam Sevitam. Rupa Dye Pariveshitam Raghuganai Jiva Dye Abharakshitam Sukha Shiva Brahma Samanitam Sri Radha Pada Sevanam Ritamaho Taddatumisho Bhavan. It's revealing what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's gift to the world. So captured the attention of Srila Saraswati Thakur. Because it says, Taddatumisho, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is your gift to the world? Unthinkable that Sri Gauranamatam's Rup, what Mahaprabhu, the internal reason for descent described by Kaviraj Goswami, known only to Srup Damodar. Rupa Goswami, Srupam Bibrano Jagatatulyam. And that is worshipable to Sanatana Goswami Prabhu. That's what he's all about. Radha Dasyechava in Brihad Bhagavatamritam. Rupa Dye Parivesh. And Rupa and his followers, Rupa Goswami is enhancing this, delivering it, and Rupa Dye Parivesh. Raghuganai. And Raghu's group is included, we're told, the proper disciple of a proper guru, Raghunath Das Goswami, means Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. All of this comes through Chaitanya Charitamritam, the greatest book to have ever seen the light of day in all time, all space, and all creations. Rupa Dye Pariveshitam Raghuganai Ashvaditam. And they're relishing this, and it's becoming even more relishable as the outcome. Jiva Deva Abhirakshitam, and Jiva Goswami, Baladev Vidyabhushan, they're protecting us from modification, from those who would challenge its authenticity, imitation, all of those things. They're protecting, needs to be protected. Jiva Dye Abharakkak, like guardian of devotion. Rakkak. Saraswati Thakur, that he gave him that name is significant. Sridhar means whose opinion exceeds all others, and Rakkak, the guardian, the protector of the line. this current, the Rupanuga Dhara current. Jiva, Dhyaya, Sukha, Shiva, Brahma, Uddhava, they're all aspiring for a drop of this divine substance. Asamaho charanenu jishamahangshang Vrindavane kimapi guma latosadinam Yadushtadam svajanam arjata patam jahitva Vedur mukunda parivrim srutivirva migram. What it was saying, because Radharani, that they copyright, trademark, they own everything. They own Krishna. Only they can distribute him. No one can distribute them independently of them. Krishna distributes himself through them. Radha Dasyeta, the Radha Dasyam, the service of the connection with the lotus feet of Radharani, Krishna Moyi, that brings the highest quality and quantity of Krishna, unparalleled. She's the better half of the sweet absolute. She alone is capable of extracting everything from Krishna, and in gratitude, nourishing her serving group with unparalleled divine substance. Mahabhav, Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakurani, Mahabhav Chintamani Radha Thakurani. And then it says, Sri Radha, so Sri Radha Padasevanamritam, the service of the whole nectarine, it says Sri Radha Padasevana Amritam, Pada Seva Amritam. Right? Like Yata Yata Gaura Padara Vinde Vinde Tabhaktim Krita Punya Rasi Tata Tatot Sarpati Hridya Kasmat Radha Padam Bodha Sudam Burasi. Who wrote the Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, Asta Saki Tunga Vidyas, from the lotus feet, at the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you'll get everything. Those who are, Sukritivan, Sumedasa, who, Gauranga said, refined theistic intellect, will see through Gauranga, automatically, subconsciously, deep from within your core of your heart, the Radha Rasa Shuddha Nidhi begins to flow, and you spring out of the soil in Vrindavan as an assistant servitor. Sri Radha Padasevanamritam, aho! And oh, Bhaktivinoda, aho! Taddatamisha. This is your gift to the world, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Saraswati Thakur seeing that. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? And then it says, Sridhar Maharaj. You go, oh, Sridhar Maharaj has not written this. No. It's so perfect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this through him. Now I'm satisfied. Although I will soon leave the world, I came here to distribute something. Now I see someone received it. I'm happy. Someone has received fully, and that man can fully, perfectly represent me and my decision, my opinion, and that man is no other than Om Vishnupad Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. So when we want to understand something substantial about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and make a, however flawed, an attempt to glorify his holy lotus feet, if we will listen to Srila Guru Maharaj and like Ganga, using Ganga to Ganga, and say those things, then we can know that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his disciples will be happy to hear those things. And all of those who revere and love him will be happy to hear him properly glorified. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Tirubhav Mahamahotsavati Ki Jai. Now, the secretary of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, will say some words in glorification of Srila Saraswati Thakur.
Maharaj, truly, I would be reading from Srila Guru Maharaj's compositions, we'd be singing those compositions, and actually, my life, as you know, is to bring everybody to hear Guru Maharaj, to hear yourself, who can properly, nicely represent and present them. So Maharaj, this would be what I would do if I was informally with the devotees. However, you asked me to say a few words, and so we can also just mention, because there are many aspects, and one is that how Guru Maharaj was told how that short expression, that Mattala Harijana Kirtana Bange, and Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bange.
Pujala Ragapat Gaurava Bange, Matala Sarujana Bishaya Range.
Right, originally the Vishaya Range, and then this expression slightly amended, not amended, but adjusted by Srila Gurudev for the
Range.
Yes.
So I have to say something about that.
Yes, Maharaj.
Right. So when they get the Bhagavad, remember that mat, the 3 lakhs rupees. Right? So they had a hired house in Bagh Bazaar. Excuse me, right. No, Ultadanga. And they're taking the deities to the Bagh Bazaar, now will be the flagship center. So he composes this, Pujala Ragapat Gaurava Bange Matala Sarujana Bishaya Range, which Guru Maharaj said like the motto. And what it means, saying, Puja Ragapat, the Raga Marg that we're just, that's Puja, means worshipable. That which is worshipable is kept high above. So from a step removed, the lower position, we're worshipping and serving that plane. With what? Gaurava means on venerate, and Bange means like this. Pujala Ragapat Gaurava Bange. Then he says, Matala Sarujana. And what are the sadhus doing? Here's what he said. Bishaya Range. They're doing all kinds of things. Bishaya generally means mundane. And it says, and they're relishing it. They're doing marketing. They're doing, buying things. They're doing all kinds of stuff that appears to be mundane, and it appears that they're relishing doing these things. Making a building, buying bricks, buying some. They're doing all of that and relishing to it, and because it's in service to that plane. That's what it means. So Babaji Maharaj, everyone knows this is like succinct, and Babaji Maharaj wanted to put these, like he has above the doorways, Kirtaniya Sadahari, but Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj knows, Bengalis, they can see this and misunderstand the Bishaya word, Bishaya Range. Because you could say, Bengalis, you know what they're like, they go like, oh, so in service to the higher plane, you're like having fun with the mundane, so Babaji Maharaj wants to put these all over the mat. So Gurudev modifies it to Kirtana Range. But if we go back to Saraswati Thakur, and what is that Kirtan? Fighting with Maya. The Maya, not that they're just a bunch of like people with drums and kartals going down the street, which is a wonderful thing. Guru Maharaj calls it a parade. That's what he refers to, a parade. So the parade has its place. But back to a fight, the Krishna conception against Maya misconception. That's what they're doing. But to do that, we have to deal with the mundane. We buy bricks, we buy cement, we buy vegetables, we buy a Zoom contract so you can do your Zoom. We have to do those things. And actually, we like doing that. When we go, oh, we got the Zoom thing that allows for different translation. We're happy about it. Bishaya Range. It's like, appears to be mundane, but not, because it's in service to the higher plane. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagam Yuchite. But because Bengalis, they'll look up there and see Vishaya, oh Vishayi, Gurudev saying, Kirtana Range.
Yes, so it was going to be just this that I was going to point out about being I think Guru Maharaj said it encapsulated what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to give in just one short expression.
Just to be said, Guru Maharaj said, you know what Vishaya Range means also? We use bait. Like to catch a fish, we use bait to bring people in connection with Krishna. That's also what it means. In other words, it's pretty heavy. It can really get questionable. That's why Gurudev changed it before they put it up on a wall. Because Babaji Maharaj, everyone knows that's it, but he's saying, the Vishaya part, people are going to tear that apart. Kirtana Range, Guru Maharaj, yes, that'll be better. But Saraswati Thakur, again, Guru Maharaj said, our Guru Maharaj's sayings were mostly revolutionary. He said things that shocked everybody, that were shocking to people who thought they knew what Krishna consciousness was. Like, I will build a youth hostel, and the non-vegetarians will have a restaurant nearby, cater for them. Like serve them meat. Guru Maharaj said, I think the end result of that will be contamination and Armat. And Saraswati said, oh, no, you don't know. I decided this 10,000 years ago. That was his answer. What does that mean? I decided this 10,000, in other words, not, I'm like, just thinking out, I'm like brainstorming. Maybe we'll, like, he said, oh, no, I decided this I've vetted this idea. And Guru Maharaj said it was like a thunderbolt striking his heart. And he said, you have to have Vaikuntha Vritti. Vaikuntha means unlimited. So you have to be, so who is stricter? He's the personification of strictness, of Guru, of heavy. But he's willing to loosen things up to give others access. If he didn't do that, none of us would be sitting here right now. Not at all. That man who went in the cave, Guru Deva told us, he went in the cave taking 64 rounds and Rishikesh, and after 12 years or something, he came out and said, Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur is right. Like, that's a waste of time. We should be out here preaching to people, doing things. So in Gaudiya Math, they had motorboats to go from Calcutta to Navadvip. 2 motorboats. Printing presses. He said it's the Brihad Mridanga. He toured Vrindavan in a motor car. It's like saying, like, he did Brajamandal Parikrama in a Bentley. He'd show up in a motor car. That's why when the puja, they're in Radha Kund, the northeast section of Raghunath Das Goswami, and they quote the famous verse of Raghunath Das Goswami saying that the Brahmins are Bur Surgana. They're the devatas of this world and worshipable. And that man carelessly said, yes, we can give blessings to Das Goswami and his followers. Anyway, it's time for prasadam. Then Saraswati Thakur is fasting, and all the devotees are fasting. And the man goes, why? You insulted the Prayojan Tattva Acharya of the Rupanuga line, Raghunath Das Goswami. Our Guru Maharaj won't take anything from you. I'm a stupid man. I didn't know what I was saying. Falls at his feet, begs forgiveness. And Saraswati Thakur said, all right. And he said, if I was here alone doing bhajan and I heard something like that, I'd just get up and go. I wouldn't say anything. He said, I've come here with 500 men in a motor car, which is a big deal then. Like Prabhupada used to say, like speaking of Vishaya Ranga, you can hear a lecturer probably talking about the fallen condition of the modern people, and he goes like, I'm driving around New York delivering, shipping books for ISKCON Press. I'm listening to Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, today everyone is a womanizer, drunkard, motor car driver. Like same level. Womanizer, drunkard, motor car driver. And I'm like, so he's saying, like, I'm in Radha Kunda in a motor car. He did not, answer the calls of nature in a ditch. They had to carry around a European toilet, a portable European toilet for him. One lady, when he was a tutor, before he started Gaudiya Math, he was tutoring British children. And the lady was so impressed with him. She wrote a letter back to her friends in England saying, there is this one Babu here, what was his name? Bimla Prasad, who, he's a perfect British gentleman in every way, although he's a Bengali. And Saraswati Thakur used to go like, I've got that, read it. you know, he would share it with his disciples. He liked that she said he was a perfect, you know, European, British gentleman, and European in every way. That was a source of, that's what he wanted. He didn't want someone like, oh, look at me, what kind of a sadhu I am. You know, I wear burlap copines, like Teen Kudi, 3-shell Goshai. Guru Maharaj said, what are those shells? Tama, Raja, Sattva. He said, everyone's impressed. He wore, you know, packing cloth copines. Then Guru Maharaj said, I suppose then the Naga Babas are his guru. Those are the ones who wear nothing. Right? So anyway, Saraswati told a youth hostel that we're in Vrindavan with Prabhupada. Sagar Maharaj was there, he was the Koyananda president, Hangsadutta was there, and Prabhupada's finding out no one's coming to our temple. And he goes, why? This is like 1976. And, you know, Prabhupada's disappointed to see the rooms are empty. It's supposed to be a guest house. And Hangsadutta is there, Sagar Maharaj, he's the Koyananda. And they go, well, Prabhupada, you know, like, we don't allow tea. Prabhupada said, do you get served tea? What is, you know, like... And then they go, well, we don't allow smoking. Prabhupada said, there can be one room as a designated smoking room. I'm just telling you what I heard from Srila Prabhupada at that time. Just hear it without prejudice. Right? So, tea, you get served tea. Smoking, all right, you can have a designated smoking room. Next, like what else? You know. And so they're going through this, then Prabhupada said, and I heard it first from him, what Saraswati Thakur to Guru Maharaj, the tumblers fell into place years later. He said, my Guru Maharaj said, and he told the story about the London youth hostel where they're going to cater non-vegetarians. Prabhupada told that story. We're in Vrindavan, and he's telling that story. I want to see this guest house full. That was his thing. Right? Guru Maharaj can tell those stories, but he may not like to employ that at his ashram. Like even us, he said, Madhyadvip, you go to Madhyadvip and visit. He didn't really want to deal with us. But Gurudev could deal with us. He is, like I said, he said, after dealing with you, nothing will surprise me. The only thing that surprises me is that they're chanting Hare Krishna in China. He said, that surprises me. But nothing. After dealing with you folks, nothing would surprise me. So
let us. So if you wish, Maharaj, we can
let's
chant.
sing a song. Let's
yes,
sing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And we have, you know, the composition of Srila Guru Maharaj.
Sing it.
Specifically for the Disappearance.
Yeah.
But it's a very awkward meter, Maharaj.
Don't sing it, read it.
But I know Paramananda who has been practicing the meter.
Singing it, or you can only, no one can sing this. You can read it. Recite it.
So
don't try to sing it. Recite it, and then afterwards we'll sing like Pranamami Siddha Prabhupada.
All right, Maharaj.
No one can follow.
Right.
We read the translation, the meaning.
Right, but I want to, the Nitesh Men part, I want to read personally.
Nitesh
What page is it on?
Page 311, Maharaj. 311.
Yeah. Sri Sri Dvaita Das Dasakam Nite Yasmin Nishante Nayana Jalabare Shnata Gatra Buddhanam Ucher Ukrashatam Sri Brikraba Sutaya Dhiraya Sviya Gushtim. What is the meter? Yeah. Okay. Prithvi Gandha Karai Hrita Nayana Mani Vavrita Yena Hina. Oh, I see. Yatra So Tatra Sigranam Kripana Nayana He Niyatam Kinkaroryam All right, that's the one I want to read. Now read the rest in English.
So shall I read it all in English once?
Yeah.
So this is Sri Sri Daita Dasa Dasakam, prayer to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur after his manifest pastimes. And this prayer is by Srila Bhakti Rakha Dev Goswami Maharaj. So at the end of the night of Sri Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini, she suddenly took him to her entourage.
That is Sri Radhika.
She suddenly took him to her entourage, withdrawing him from the company of throngs of grief-stricken souls. A great cry of lamentation arose. Their bodies were bathed by their tears. When he was thus stolen away, this world was plunged into the deep darkness of one whose eyes have been stolen away. So bereft of the vision of my Divine Master, O my sorrowful eyes, wherever that great soul may be, please quickly take this servitor there.
Remember, his internal name, his secret name, is Nayanamani Manjari. Nayanamani means like the jewel of the eye, or eye jewel. Like when someone's the jewel, they have in English, the apple of the eye, but like the apple, you know. The jewel of the Nayanamani, eye jewel. So it means, that's how Radharani sees him, her. The jewel of her eye, Nayanamani. So here, Guru Maharaj is playing off of the name Nayanamani repeatedly. Mm-hmm. Eyes, 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 eyes. You hear the word eyes being used again and again. The tears from the eyes, the griefs, you know, souls. They're bathed in tears, which come from eyes, deep darkness, whose eyes have been stolen. You know, Hrita, Nayanamani, jewel of the eye, the internal name. So just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Then verse 2. From his lotus feet, the nectarian river of divine love flows throughout the universe. His servitors, like bees, maintain their lives, drinking the honey that falls from his lotus feet. And the pure devotees, in the shelter of the confidential rasas of Braja, revel in the bliss of singing the glories of his lotus feet. O Dinanayana, wherever that great soul may be, please quickly take this servitor there. Verse 3. Parental affection, so highly esteemed in this world, is a colossal hoax as an obstacle to Hari Bhakti. Socially recognized pure matrimonial love is nothing but dacoity, in that it plunders away both the husband's and the wife's eagerness for the chance to acquire the treasure of love, unadulterated by the superficiality of familial prejudice.
Wow.
And common friendship is merely deception. I have gleaned all these thoughts from the rays of light that emanate from the toenails of the holy feet of that great personality, the embodiment of supramundane affection. O Dinanayana, wherever that great soul may be, please quickly take this servitor there. The divine message sung by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra had its continuous play in the ears of the people. From the ear did he, just to fulfill the purport of the name Nayanamani, reveal his form to the eye, making his advent in the mansion, the temple, favored by the glance of Sri Nila Chala Chandra at the time of the Rath Yatra festival. O Dinanayana, wherever that great soul, Mahapurusha, may be, please swiftly take this servitor there. Then Gaur Endor Asta Srila, verse 5. Drawing up the pure golden waters of the Jambu river mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, has this golden cloud arisen on the mountain where the golden moon, Sri Gaura Chandra, descended, set, just to shower down torrents of rain upon the whole countryside that was scorched by the forest fire of threefold sufferings.
Making the point that Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip and he left in Puri. Saraswati Thakur appeared in Puri and he left in Navadvip.
And so, yes, then suddenly, he appeared in Puri, then suddenly concealed himself in the dust of the land of the advent of Gauranga. O Dina Nayana, wherever that great master may be now, please quickly take this servitor to that place. Next verse. He is of the same hue as Sri Gaura, and although he who sings the tidings of Sri Gaura is the natural guru of the whole universe, he accepted discipleship to a great devotee called Sri Gaura Kishora. In the whole Gaura Mandal, he is the repository of the glory of those who grant entrance into the fold of the pure Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He proudly ascended the lofty throne of preaching the glories of the gift of the Golden Lord Sri Gaura, the service of Sri Radha Govinda in Braja, that gift, to the Vaishnavas of Dravida, that is the devotees in South India who are generally worshippers of Lakshmi Narayan. The glory of his dignity shines even in the group of Sri Gandharva, and he holds a preeminent position in the intimate circle of Sri Giridhari. That is, he is the most beloved of Lord Mukunda. O Dina Nayana, where that great soul is now, please swiftly take this servitor there. In verse 7, he inundated the whole universe of countless living beings, whether Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, less than Shudra, and even Mlecha. So he inundated the whole universe of countless living beings with the oceanic nectar of the holy name of Sri Radha Krishna. Although unapproachable by the liberationists and yogic perfectionists, he is known as the friend of the fallen, the mercy potency of Sri Gauranga. O Dina Nayana, where
it says in the Prapana Jivanamritam, after Guru Gaura Gandharva Govindangringanaisaha Bande Prasada Isham Sarvabram Bhamsubhan, then he says Gauravag Vigraha, his Mahaprabhu's person, Gauravag Vigraham Bande, Gaurangam, Gauravaibhavam, Gaurasan Kirtanam, Gaura Kurunya Sundaram. He's also the mercy manifestation of Mahaprabhu.
Beautiful Maharaj. O Dina Nayana, wherever that great soul may be, please swiftly take this servitor there. Verse 8. Do I have a hope to ever see that beautiful golden personality who makes everything auspicious for the world? Do I have a hope to ever behold that tall figure once again? His blue lotus eyes, his nose that excels the charm of the tila flower, his forehead that shames the half moon, his graceful lotus face, his gleaming pearl white teeth, his long arms extending to his knees. O Dinanayana, wherever that great soul has gone, please swiftly take this servitor there. In the year of our Lord Gauranga, 450, in the month of Pausha, on the 4th day of the dark fortnight of the moon of the star of Magha, at the closing of the night of Brihaspativara, that is 5:30 a.m. on the 1st of January 1937, that most beloved attendant of Srimati Vrishabhanu Nandini entered into the eternal pastimes. O Dinanayan, wherever that great soul may be, quickly take this servitor there to him. And then the last verse, verse 10 of the Dashakam. Ha ha karair jananan. So the entire earth and skies were filled with the cries of anguish of the people and of the disciples devoted to the service of Sri Gurudev's lotus feet. Where has that great master gone? Alas, today the whole universe seems empty in the separation of Prabhupada.
Saraswati Thakur.
Of Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The servitor of Gurudev cannot endure even a moment of his separation. O Dinanayana, wherever that great soul may be, please quickly take this servitor there to him. Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Mahamahotavati
Ki Jai. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Virito Gauriya Gurvanvaye Bato Banuriva Prabhata Garune Yo Gora Sankirtane Mayavada Timingilo Udaragata Udritya Jivanima Krishna Prema Sudhati Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Mahamahotavati Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur Srila Mahamahotavati Ki Jai. Sri Gauri Mat Ki Jai. Jai Goswami. Hey.
What are we singing?
He's saying Pranamani Srila Prabhupada any kirtan. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahamantra.
Krishna Chaitanya
Just Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahamantra.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna
Jai. Jai Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Tirubhavarati ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parvraj Astadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parvraj Astadhara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakhok Sri Hadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And again, Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Gokishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. Sri Gauriya Mat ki Jai. Sri Moolnath Gauriya Matin Mayapo ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Samadhi Mandir ki Jai. Jai Saparika Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Giridhari Juti Jai. Navadip Shri Saparika Shri Guru Gauranga Ganbhava Govinda Sundar Giridhari Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bhimala Vaduta Maharaj ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai, and unlimited devotees worldwide ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Maharaj ki Jai. Govinda Govinda. So now Bhoga Aarti, is it?
Yes.
Bhoga is there?
Bhoga is coming.
Bhoga will be. Okay. Then we can continue to chant Krishna now. Take a while, when the Bhoga comes, we can make the Bhoga Aarti.